What's up guys, welcome back to the Big Bad Turbo LS GU build. We are really cracking along with this thing now, it's coming together awesome. So at the moment Rex is in here cracking along with getting the actual engine all back together. So start off with getting our heads together with our new valves, which we got. Did go through this in another video that we were going to do this, so I won't film it too much, but this is just getting the standard OnSong Performance LS treatment, dual springs, new retainers, new locks. We had to get new valves, as we talked about. These valves have all been serviced and cut. We've got 10.
Just the intakes.
Just the intakes, yeah. Sorry. The valves have all been serviced. New seats cut, and we've had the heads decked 10 thou just to get them flat. We didn't want to get too much taken off them, obviously, with this thing being boosted. We don't need any compression that we don't absolutely have to have. So yeah, happy days. ARP head bolts, all of the good stuff.
I just can't put the sump on yet.
You still got to weld that fitting into it?
Yeah. So it's still waiting for it to show up.
So we're still waiting for a fitting that was ordered for the sump.
Hoping it's here today.
Yeah, fingers crossed it gets it today, but it's for draining the air oil separators back to the sump. So it's something we hadn't really anticipated at the beginning. Obviously we anticipated the turbo drain and then the engine oil temp, but we hadn't anticipated that one, which we decided to do. So waiting for that fitting to get here, but that's not a big deal. Got our new upgraded rear plate, our billet, dumbbell, like again, I went through all this on a previous episode, so happy days. New LS1 lifters to go with our new cam, new lifter buckets. Get it done, son. So this thing, when it got to us, I think I already explained it in the wiring video, but the loom that was on this engine was actually in really good condition, which is fairly rare for LS1s now being so old. A lot of them these days are pretty cooked. So the loom was in really good condition, and the knock sensors and everything were in really good condition. Everything came apart really well, so it can all go together really well, so that's all happy days. And Rex has got 2 working arms, so he can put heads together with the regular compressor, which is way faster, instead of me having to use the on-head compressor, because I can't squeeze that with this arm.
That hole, you'll be able to see it anyway.
Alright guys, along with what you can already see and I explained the other day, also going to go some 80 thou push rods in this thing, as well as, of course, our CHE upgraded trunnions. So, CHE trunnion upgrade, always best in the business for a solid brass bush trunnion. And yeah, this thing should be always mint. Alright guys, so we just had the owner just leave. He dropped us out his new bar. Thing looks awesome. While he was here, we did a bit of a test fit just to make sure it was going to work around everything we've got going on. The bar looks freaking awesome, and it is going to work exactly where we had our intercooler dummied up, and we shouldn't have to modify the bar at all, which is freaking wicked. So not only that, while he was here, we've got the next big order of stuff that we've been waiting on. So this is basically everything we need to finish the power steering, finish the breather, oil air separator, and drain from the oil air separators back to the sump, and pretty much finish off the intake and the the radiator pipes, all that sort of stuff. Got our heater lines here, our heater hoses that we bought. So these are VL V8 heater hoses. A lot of people put these on VE Commodores to tidy up their engine base so that they don't have heater hoses running up over their manifolds. And I figured that where the heater outlets come out on this water pump, they would be the perfect fit for this car. So ordered them, they're gonna be nice. So yeah, basically because of the heater outlets being the way they are, having right angles straight off them, and we should be able to run those ones over the top pretty much and go straight to our heater taps over there on the firewall. So basically we got everything here to continue on doing a whole heap of stuff. So first things first, I think Rex is gonna get onto welding up this intake. So it's time to actually mount this snorkel properly. The owner actually took this guard. He got dicked around. He didn't end up getting the guard that he was meant to be buying off the bloke. So yeah, he got a bit dicked around. There's no new guard, but he took the old guard and the old snorkel anyway, and the old bar, so that he can try and sell those off, get some money back. But before we start this intake, need to mount the snorkel up properly. So this just mounts to this A pillar here. Our plan is to drill these out on the A pillar, put some M5 nutserts in it. So we'll silicone the nutserts in when we put them in so they seal. And that way we should just be able to use M5 bolts with thread sealer, and that should never leak. Easy enough to pull on and off. I'm sure his panel beater, when he gets hold of this thing to paint it, is going to be thanking us that we didn't rivet it to the A pillar. So yeah, it should be just easy to work with, easy to get on and off and everything else. So that'll be happy days. So, and then yeah, can keep on trucking along with this thing. Looking forward to it. He also dropped us out he's got some new headlights to go on this thing, and ditch these eBay faded ones. So yeah, between the new bar, new headlights, this thing's gonna look really, really nice. And most importantly, he was stoked. He's absolutely stoked with how it's coming along. So that's the main thing. Happy customers. That's the number one thing. Yeehaw, so those will do for now. We didn't bother thread sealing these because they're not going to be the final bolts that go in there. Also, we're not going to bother thread sealing them because obviously the snorkel is going to come off when it goes to paint anyway. But we're going to put some button heads just like these in here as well to match those ones. It's going to look $1,000,000.
Fancy.
It's going to look real good.
Fancy.
Oh, fancy.
So fancy.
Now we can get crack-a-lacking on the old Interacuruni.
Trying to solve I should do that or mount the intercooler first. 6.5 are really.
Another thing that I probably should have touched on last episode, but I didn't, but we talked about how we wanted to buy the high mount kit from Marks and adapt it. We also talked about how they wouldn't sell it to us. They said it wouldn't work. We tried again. We did try a second time to talk to them, asked them exactly why, what the reasoning was that they reckoned it wasn't going to work. And basically it was pretty bogus, we reckon. You know, it's fine from a business perspective if they want to stop selling half kits to people because they found that people continued to buy half kits and mix and match parts and then complain about how the kits didn't work to Marks, and you know, that I can understand. But to flat out tell people that it's flat out not going to work, doesn't make any sense without any real good reason. So basically we have tried very much to just try and get the Marks kit so that we can adapt it. They will just flat out not sell it to us because they reckon it's not going to work. So for that reason, we are going to go ahead. We're going to develop our own kit. Like we talked about, the one that Christian King developed was really good. Unfortunately, obviously, we can't buy that one, otherwise we would. So we're going to develop a kit that's probably fairly similar to what he did.
The crux of the best that I could get out of him was that he was adamant that without the high mount alt, running the high mount AC, it won't work because something over here has to be changed or the pulleys just won't work. Which I cannot for the life of me understand. Obviously with this kit, so your AC is relocated, that's fine. You got this extra idler and then the belt tension is there. So the tension is still the first thing after the crank pulley and before the first accessory, where it's supposed to be, that's fine. Then you come across to this side, and for some reason they reckon that this won't work, and I don't understand how. The normal belt route would be to come off this water pump pulley straight over the power steering, then it would come down to the alternator and come back up over this idler, which helps to get your belt wrap on the alternator down there and also on the bottom pulley. So with the alternator up here or down here, the belt still comes around this exact same idler. So that makes absolutely no difference whatsoever.
Same amount of area on the crank,
yep,
and even less area on the water pump.
Yeah, and then yeah, when the belt normally comes across there, what are you going to lose, like a couple of mil there?
Yeah,
but that's the factory one anyway. And when you line up where this actually approaches the water pump is not too different to where it would be with the tensioner in the factory position. Location. So, I mean, even if you consider things like, now that the AC is being driven first, there's obviously more belt tension on all of this side where it wasn't before. So you could talk about side loading any of these accessories, but whether the alternator's down here or not doesn't change that at all. So no. I can't make any sense out of why they're saying it doesn't work. Like, get the right belt length and it's sweet. I don't understand. So
either way, basically the point is that we didn't just go ahead and just decide we're going to just do this to spite or anything like that. We did try multiple times to try and get them to sell us just the half kit, because, you know, it's not like we want to go spend all this time to R&D and make our own, but unfortunately we sort of got no choice unless we bought that Malex Motorsport one, the one that I first talked about in the second episode. But as I talked about in that episode, it comes with a mini compressor and it only is to suit a mini compressor. And I'm a little bit worried that the compressor, you know, for our Australian climate, it's pretty brutal. We need good AC. I'm just worried that the compressor is just not going to be big enough to suit a system this big, especially like the Patrol. It's got a huge, big condenser. Like, it's a fairly decently sized system. So yeah, I'd feel a lot better about a decently sized compressor on it.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't be too concerned about it, to be honest.
Now, either way, if we're going to develop one, we may as well develop it on a big compressor. So that's what we're going to do. So that's something I should probably get started on ASAP, because it's going to take a little while to probably draw it up, 3D print it, R&D, 3D print, R&D, 3D print, R&D, CNC, or laser cut, whichever one, and get it sorted. So anyway, guys, just to be completely 100% clear and transparent, because we've had mix-ups from people watching before in the past. Absolutely nothing against Marks, especially nothing against this kit. This is not the first time we've worked with this exact kit. It goes on, it fits, everything works. It's awesome. It is such a really good kit if you can use what's going on here. You know, it's just the fact that obviously with this thing being Gen 3 and having a turbo in the way of the alternator position here, we can't use the whole kit, and they won't sell us that part. So, you know, nothing wrong with this kit at all. Just the fact that we need to come up with another solution for our particular situation here. So, alright guys, so Rex has got our intercooler mounted, and we're just looking now. We do have to trim a bit of the grill to fit around the power steering cooler now that it's moved out in front of the intercooler.
Not much.
Not much, it'll still look...
Just a bit.
Still look mostly stock. You have to look pretty close to realise that it's trimmed up, but should still be fairly stealthy and look pretty good. So.
All I'll do is just to stop them from, because they're a little bit flexy.
Yep.
I'll just put a bit of that foam, sticky foam behind there, just so that they're not
right against
hitting each other.
Cool. They're right, cool. So I've got to go some running around today, so I'm not going to be here. But Rex is just going to crack on with basically getting this intake happening. So should see that in a bit of an update in the next clip. Righto guys, back here today after my big run around yesterday, and Rex full X Games moded this thing. It's crazy. Heaps done. Got the new lights in. The thing just looks angry. Angry as hell. It's going to be ridiculous once, like the new bar. I don't think I've actually been able to get a clip yet with the bar on. Rex has been dummy fitting it on and off for the past 2 days, but I don't think I've actually got a clip yet. So next time the bar's on, I'll try and get a clip. But with the new bar and these lights, the thing just looks evil. Anyway, Rex has been hard at it. As you can see, top rad hose done. I think I might have mentioned it before, I'm not sure, but we're doing all the rad hoses out of alley as well. Just making everything just simple. Again, just trying to make everything so that it's just completely reliable. There's no risk of any sort of ruptures or wearing or anything like that. So there's also been smashing through the intake pipe work. As you can see, both sides are done. Just this one's not in the car at the moment. But you can see cast elbow off the compressor housing, and then the other one which goes in there, which is, where is it?
Oh, it's over there, it's ready. I've got to cut it.
Oh, right.
To make it so they don't quite line up at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, a bit more modification. He also made the actual intake pipe, which is this one here. So, as you can see, bit of a donut. Then he actually managed to make a bend work, which sort of comes around the compressor housing, right, and then into the airbox, which is awesome. So we're just going to have to try and bring this up so it's all brushed. We don't particularly want to polish it, because once you polish alloy, it just goes to shit after a few, days, weeks, I say. So if we can just try and get like a nice brushed finish with some Scotch-Brite, that'll be sick. But yeah, it goes in here, does a little whoop, whoop. It's sick. So yeah, really cracking along with this thing. It's freaking awesome. And yeah, these headlights are sick. Man, when I build my GU, I'm definitely gonna be hitting up Bryce, be like, oi.
Yeah, they look tough as.
When
I put them on there, I was like, ooh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like them.
This thing, like, painted up with the patrol like the Snorkel and those lights and stuff. Not to mention the sound of LS and dose. Thing's gonna be just angry. So this is the other intake pipe, which Rex has got to sort out a bit. All of this pipe work is made, bead rolled. We've got a bead roller now. I think I might have mentioned it in another video or showed you in another video, but yeah. We bought a bead roller, seeing as we're going to be doing all this fab and stuff lately. So yeah, everything's
so nice.
Yeah, everything's properly bead rolled. Everything's like always, as little silicone joiners as possible. Each side's one piece, so you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 joiners, and that's it.
There's one under that guard.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Couldn't get that one in one piece.
Nah, no way. Even as it is, it's sort of, you can only just get it in and out.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
It won't come in and out with that there, I don't think.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, fair enough. So there is
ridiculous
there
to
is
try and make it one piece. Just wasn't going to happen.
there is another join there. Sorry guys, my bad. But yeah, we try and just weld as much as we can and use joiners as little as possible because it's just less opportunity for failure, less areas for things to go wrong, less hoses to pop off, things like that. So, and yeah, they're all bead rolled and properly T-clamped, T-bolted, I should say. So yeah, trying to take all precautions necessary to make sure the thing just is always 100% and just never fails. The old bandsaw's been getting a bloody workout. So this is some of the stuff I picked up yesterday. So this is our 3.5-inch oval. I've got 3 meters of it so that we've got enough to do the next 3 turboed LS converted 4-wheel drives we've got coming up over the next few months. So yeah, that's 3.5-inch oval. And look how much room that gives you. It's freaking awesome, how good. We've got a couple of 3.5-inch bends which we needed, and some transition cones. So that's your 3.5 to 3.5 oval. They need a bit of shaping and a bit of muscling around, but certainly a lot better than making them yourself. But
yeah, that's
fair way out.
It's not. Oh, I don't reckon it's too bad.
Yeah,
it's closer to that than it is to be round. So
yeah, that's the idea.
I can deal with that.
So Ryan from Elite Fab Works actually sourced this for us. So huge big thank you to Ryan there at Elite Fab.
Yeah, make that work.
Yeah, best fabricator in the bloody world, I reckon. He's up there. Nah, he's pretty bloody good though.
Yeah, he's pretty.
He's pretty damn good. But anyway, so yeah, huge thanks to him for actually sourcing that for us. Stoked that we actually managed to get a couple of 3.5-inch bends, which is just enough for us to do this dump pipe and probably the next one on the next turboed 4-wheel drive we've got to do as well. And then yeah, after that, like we talked about, transition to 4-inch because we can actually get 4-inch cats and mufflers and stuff. So happy days there.
I took a chance on that one.
Ooh, pretty good.
I worked it out mathematically what the length should be from there to the center of that pipe, and I've got to say it's pretty
nice,
pretty good.
You reckon there's, yeah, and there should be enough room there to transition for our cone?
Yeah, it'll be.
Into our oval.
Just right, I think.
And then there'll just be a heap of pie cut nonsense with the oval to get it right and get it down there. And hopefully we don't have to put a 3.5-inch V-band off the back of that. But we'll find out. All right, guys, once again, I do hugely apologize for not getting more in on the action while I'm filming, but we're just so freaking busy here of actually building this RB25 at the moment. So I've got my hands full as well. So my apologies, but it's just the way it is, unfortunately, while it's still just the two of us and we're this busy. Not a lot we can do about it, but this is what it looks like sort of coming together. Rex sort of welded everything up.
It's all on the floor there.
Yeah, so we've got a few bungs here and there, which I'll explain once it all starts going together. But yeah, so this is our intake pipe, as you can see, looking really good. We've got our 2 AN fittings down the bottom here, which are our breathers for our oil air separators. So that's all happy days. And the other thing that we did do is Rex put an AN fitting on this side, and obviously with your Mac valve, you have sort of one side that bleeds out, which on a street car we'd normally just put a little filter on it or just vent it to atmospheric, which is fine in a street car. Obviously in a 4-wheel drive that's not so cool, because if you end up in water, your Mac valve's just going to suck in a heap of water, and that water's going to end up in your gate diaphragm or in your intake, which is not good. It's also probably not good for the Mac valve. I don't know how they work exactly, but I can't imagine it'd be too great. So what we're going to do is actually vent the side that's venting, that's just bleeding air off, is actually going to vent back into the intake. So it's going to recirculate, which is going to keep the whole system sealed, which is going to obviously help with water as well as dust and dirt and crap like that. So it keeps that whole Mac valve, air, wastegate, boost control circuit is all sealed and contained. So there's no nasties can get in. So that's happy days. So that was a really good idea on Rex's part, really good thought, and yeah, cracking along with this. It's all looking really good. So we've got a bung in, yeah, I'll go through them when they go together. So another thing we will do as well is the spare port in the top of the gate, which obviously you have to leave open in this sort of plumbing situation, because if you close it or seal it, it basically locks the air on top of the diaphragm. It doesn't allow the gate to open. So we see a lot of cars come in here for tunes that are set up that way. People bung the top of the gate to try and seal it. It doesn't work. You have to leave at least one of them open, because that air, as that diaphragm opens, has to be able to go somewhere. So yeah, we're gonna basically seal this one off. There's another one on the bottom here. We're gonna put probably just a barb on that as well and run that into this pipe too, so that it is also breathing and venting into the intake, which is also seals this diaphragm unit as well. So it means the whole boost control circuit is sealed off. So don't have to worry about that when it comes to like water or dirt or mud or anything like that. So anyway, guys, I know that a lot of these episodes have ended up just being long, drawn out videos of me talking, more or less, basically the same sort of content I was trying to get away from last year. But unfortunately, we are just too busy for me to be able to take the creative direction that I would really like to with this sort of thing at the moment. But what I will do is when this build's finished, I know a lot of people aren't going to sit through all of these build episodes because of just the way they've come together. They're not super entertaining. I understand that, and I do apologize. But what I'll do is at the end of this build, when it's all finished, we'll do a complete build breakdown, and we'll go through everything in an actual video that I'll probably get someone to help me out with, and make a really good video out of that one, so that people get a really good idea of what's actually happening. And then obviously if they want to know a lot more in depth about what's going on or how we went about building it, they can always come back to these build episodes. So thanks guys for watching anyway, for tuning in. I do appreciate it. All right guys, once again, big sorries for not filming more of this, but anyway. Because it's a dark day. So, as you can see, oval, pie cuts, how bloody good. So dump is well and truly underway, but we are at a point now where it doesn't want to go in and out, which is a problem. We don't actually currently have a 3.5-inch V-band, which is actually something we need to add to that order, while I think about it. So this is probably where we're going to have to just put another 3.5-inch V-band to separate this from that, so that it can come up from underneath. It's about the only thing that's pretty much going to work. Unfortunately, it just is what it is.
Yeah, we'll have to even see if that's going to work.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So currently Rex reckons it can get it in and out if he removes the snorkel, but
we're going to have to just experiment,
yeah,
work out which one's going to work.
Yep, well, it'll be a fun time. But anyway, she's looking cool, very cool looking piece, as you can see. Bit of ovaling, looking awesome. Yeah.
I cut some the other way as well, like, you know, instead of bending it that way, they actually bend that way, because I was going to try and dog leg it a bit to the back where there's a little bit more clearance because of the way the chassis slopes down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was starting to overcomplicate it, because then you got bends in two directions. It was going to make it
not a lot of room to get all of those bends in either.
Yeah, I could have done it, but I just thought I'd try it with using only them. If we can get through like that, it keeps it straight, it keeps it simpler, and it has worked. So. It works so far.
So obviously the past 2 days doing all this fab work, the old bandsaw's been getting a freaking workout, but it's really starting to get pretty unhappy. We can't get it to sort of settle the blade properly. It keeps rolling the blade off one of the rollers and cutting crooked, and it's not very good. So I think it might be time to just bite the bullet and buy a decent bandsaw and retire that one. Which is a pain, but Rex basically just ended up cutting all them with like the drop saw and the grinder, and then just getting them right on the belt sander and stuff. So anyway, it is what it is. Makes it a bit more difficult, but still getting through it, and it's still looking good. So while this is out of the car as well, I'll show you this. So this is the turbo drain that we're talking about. So hard lines, fittings at each end, just dead reliable. Don't ever have to worry about it breaking or anything like that, or burning. Really, really cool way to do things, which we're just trying to do for everything at the moment. So just a closer look at the intake pipe work now that it's finished and in the car. Our rad pipe, so we've got a fitting in the rad pipe for a temperature probe. So yeah, temperature probe in the rad pipe. This is for our IAT sensor. As I said, all the ends are all bead rolled and everything. It's all done well and proper and good.
So that 1/8 MPT port that's in that rad hose, that's actually for the steam vent.
Yes.
From the heads.
Yep.
And where I've written M12, that's where I'm going to weld an M12 by 1.5 fitting, which the Marks adapter will screw in, that screws in the GU
control
gauge temperature probe, because I'd like to put the Defi in the head itself rather than the intake pipe, because it's, sorry, I keep saying intake pipe, the rad hose.
Rad hose, yep.
Because that's the one that we really want to see exactly what's going on. So
yeah, so the GU dash probe will just go into here. That's what Rex was just saying. And yeah, we'll put the Defi one in the head, which will be nice. And well, what were you saying about you having to earth it because it's a single temp? Oh, single wire temp probe.
The gauge probe is just a single wire.
Yep.
Just earths through the actual sensor.
Yeah.
And because
this is insulated.
Isolated,
Yep.
yeah,
Isolated
or isolated, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to have to earth the actual
sensor.
Yeah, so I've welded that M6 tab there, which I'm going to put a P-clamp on to hold the hose and the wire for the temperature probe.
Oh, yep.
So that's not zip tied, so it's just a bit nicer. So it's easy enough. I'll just put an earth ring into that and just run that with the wire from the sensor and earth it. And
earth it somewhere else.
It should be no problem then.
Yep. No worries, happy days. So yeah, that's going to be a steam port, sorry. So as you guys, most of you probably know, the LS on top of the valley plate, they have actually a steam port which connects all the heads, which actually just allows air out of the system, allows it to bleed out. So you sort of have to run that up. A lot of people just drill and tap the radiator. If you're converting a ZD, the ZD radiator already has a port to use, which is perfect. Pretty sure the ZD does.
Yeah, I believe that's what we did with Greg's.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, either way, a lot of people just drill and tap the top of the radiator tank, but we're just going to put it into this hose. It's the next best thing, and it's a lot easier for us. And not too keen on drilling and tapping plastic and then trying to get it to seal. This is a lot easier to get to seal, and it's all happy days. So same thing, really well bead rolled, all these. So yeah, all looking great. Around. Let's see if Rex can get this dump pipe in now that there's no Snorkel in the way. Ooh, that.
If I weld a bend on the end of that, it's definitely not going in.
So it's cool to be able to get it in now, but obviously that's not how the car's going to leave here, where you have to take the Snorkel off to get the dump pipe in.
I'll have to leave, like, just do all this for the fab.
Yep.
And then it's going to have to change. There we go. How nice is that?
Yeah, how good is that?
And it's just like that 1 mil gap all the way around. The V-band pulls up. Minty.
Happy days.
So you can see it has moved just a touch. Yeah, I can change that. That's all right. Yeah, you can see down through there. If you can get the camera in, you can see how tight she was. Sort of. Woo. There's only sort of 5-ish, about 5 mil to that manifold runner.
Yeah.
But there's a good at least sort of 10 to 15 off the chassis, which is the important one.
Yeah.
That's the one I want to keep it away from. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well that's the one that's going to move around.
Yeah.
Whereas the engine, it should always pretty much be.
And then once you get underneath, you can still get it. You can still get it that bleed nipple for the clutch.
Yep.
And then it's just going to bend and come around underneath and leave plenty of room to make a nice heat shield to protect the slave from the dump pipe. I think you're right though. I think our best bet is probably to put a 3.5-inch V-band right there.
Yeah, well, probably the best way to test it is just to cut the tacks off and just see if you can get it up from underneath.
I reckon if I got this one down from here, again, you probably have to drop the sway bar.
Yeah.
But it's pretty straightforward to do that. It's very easy.
But the thing is, if there's a V-band there, there'd be hardly any situation that you'd have to actually pull this out.
Yeah.
Because you'd be able to just pop that, that comes off.
Yeah.
You can get it, all of this, you know, just pop the gate off that V-band there.
Yeah.
And basically all of this is out of the way, down back to there, and that just stays. And yeah, I couldn't imagine many situations that you'd actually have to pull that out from that point.
Yeah. All right.
So
well, we better get onto ordering a V-band.
I'll order that. We'll chuck that on the order today. But yeah, she's all coming along awesome. That's going to look great. It's all welded up.
While that Snorkel's out, I'll sort out these breather lines too. I'll just bent them out of the way for now. Straighten out the ends of them.
Yep.
Then we can rerun them and they'll be fine.
No worries. Alright guys, so I just thought I'd quickly show you while I'm thinking about it as well. So we've ordered the banjo and the AN fitting for the clutch line. And you can see that's just AN4 and that'll be all braided back to the master. So just a full braided AN clutch line that goes back through there. Rex just had to obviously put the slave on for clearance for the dump pipe for now.
That's pretty much what's going to happen.
Yep.
I might shorten up that bend at that end just by like 10-15 mil.
Yep, just bring that up.
Which brings it up a little bit, and but it still leaves plenty of room there to make a decent heat shield around the clutch.
Yep.
It doesn't have to come up too much higher because I measured it's less from the sway bar to the rib on the box than it is from there to there.
Yeah, okay.
So
sway
basically,
bar will hit the box before
yeah,
it
sway
hits the
bar's
pipe.
hitting the box if it's hitting the pipe. So
yep.
I'll just bring that up like 10 mil just for a little bit more.
Yep.
And then that'll pretty much be it. So
no worries. And then
like
from
I'm
there,
pretty confident from here. If we have a 3.5 up there, we'll merge to 4-inch.
Yep.
Pretty much here, and then just have our first
our cat
4-inch V-band or something there.
Yep.
Before that cross member, and that means if you had to get the stump out, you've just got to drop
wrestle
that
the sway bar.
and then just maneuver it out, and it should all come out.
Yep. Happy days.
So it's gonna be a little bit of mucking around, but honestly, we're trying to fit a fair bit of pipe in places it was never meant to be. So
yep.
we can only do so much.
Yeah. So basically, put the 4-inch cone straight off that, and then
More or less, yeah.
straight into a V-band, and then pretty much almost straight into a cat.
Well, maybe just a little bit of straight here just to get it past
The clutch sleeve, yeah.
the clutch fork that's going to be
keep a bit of room there.
Yep. I'll make it, like I said, I'll make a heat shield. But you've still got plenty of access here for your oil filter and stuff like that. Like there's plenty of room here for serviceability that we keep crapping on about. So.
Yep. Have we tried yet actually fitting 4-inch through there?
No.
Should probably grab
Heaps of room though.
You reckon?
Yeah, just looking at it.
Yeah, okay, sweet.
Heaps of space.
Heaps of space back there.
Couldn't ask for any more than that.
So yeah, we'll have a cat somewhere around here, and then further back we'll discuss with the owner about where exactly he wants the exit, because we had talked about doing like a bit of a side exit. So we'll have a chat to him about exactly how he wants it to exit out the back here, and then choose where's going to be best to put our muffler. We try and put the muffler as far back as we can. It keeps like that real deep growl, rather than that real soft thong slappy sound. Like if the shortest amount of pipe you can have after the muffler, we reckon sounds the best. So try and put the muffler as far back as we can, and then have his exit, and then should be all happy days. Imagine if we had like a hoist or something, so we didn't have to crawl around on the ground.
Yeah. Wish that sort of technology existed.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine if we had hoists or something, so you could put cars on and like lift them above your head, so that you could like stand underneath them and not have to crawl around on the ground and roll around on the ground. That'd be sick.
You sound like a crazy person.
All right, guys. In the interest of trying to keep these a little bit short, I think that'll probably do us for another episode. We are cracking along with this thing fairly quick. That when you think about, there's really not a whole lot left to do now. You know, the wiring, as much as it looks like an absolute mess, there's really not much actually left to do on it. It just needs to be completely wrapped up once we know everything works. The engine's more or less together in there. It's just about ready to go in. Once it goes in, pretty much all the fab work's just about completed. We've just got to finish off the exhaust. We're just waiting for a few little bits and pieces to finish off the fuel system. So, you know, it's coming together pretty quick and pretty good. And it's looking awesome, I must say. So absolutely stoked with it. So thanks for watching. As always, guys, smash like, smash subscribe. We'll see you on the next episode. I do apologize for these particular episodes of this build being sporadic and all over the place and probably not super intuitive or making a lot of sense as far as the progression goes. And it's just, sorry that we're so busy and I don't really have the time that I would like to put into the channel. But regardless, just trying to show you guys how it's all going and get it out anyway. So hope you're enjoying it for what it's worth. But yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out. See you. Bye.